We flew into Edmonton last night and had a smaller flight up here to Norman Wells. And we got to the airport and we thought plenty of time, but it was a rush job there. A lot of people showing up to the airlines. From there we caught a flight into Palmer Lake Base Camp here, and we went to get our baggage, and if you can imagine, the worst thing that could happen happened. Part of our luggage didn't show up. It was the part of the luggage that the guy needs. It had his boots especially, my hunting clothes. Everybody scrambled together. We found some boots that are probably going to work and some clothes. It looks like we got all the gear we're going to need, and we're going to take a run at it and get us a sheep killed. This area is known for a lot of sheep and some good sheep. It's going to be a hard backpack hunt. We're going to probably put on a lot of miles, gain a lot of elevation and lose a lot of elevation and gain it again. And it's going to be an experience I'm never going to forget. Got my travel blue jeans on and a borrowed pair of boots. What else? Hey, I did find my shooting sticks. They're in my backpack.
We just left the river. We're going to come up on this ridge and cut back to the north a little bit and hit the trees instead of cutting across this swamp, and head up that draw right in front of us that we can't see because of the smoke.
We've got some fires burning a little bit north and west of us over on the other side of Mackenzie's in the Yukon. And that wind has really been bringing that smoke in here. It's actually cleared up a little bit, but these hills are just so gray and dull that it's going to be some tough glassing. Looking for a place to set up our tent, but it's all rocky and rough, and we decided to come back up here a little higher. We got some rams up in this draw, maybe. They'd seen them a couple days ago, just making sure they're still there. We just don't want to get too skyline, so kind of keeping down below this rim, and the wind's blowing right up the draw, so we got to be real careful right here.
Pretty flat right here. There's pretty good.
We're going to wait till the wind starts pushing downhill, which should be around 8, 9 o'clock. Then we're going to carve up behind us a little bit high. Try to get to a viewpoint where we can sit and watch that back basin. We've seen a couple rams a few days ago that were back in the back, right in the bottom in the willows. So we're going to try to find them and throw an assault on them.
You don't really have to worry about it getting dark on you because it doesn't get dark till about 2 o'clock in the morning. So we got all night. We're going to just hang out, wait till that wind switches, and head up this canyon.
On this week's shooting tip, we're going to discuss some factors with incline shooting compensation. When you're in the hunting field, rarely do you come across a situation where you need to compensate for incline, especially on the longer shots. But sometimes you do, and when you do, it's very important that you know how to compensate for your incline. The first part of compensating, of course, is measuring your incline angle. Now that's pretty simple. We've got a lot of devices out there that'll help you do that. The new G7 rangefinder, that thing will measure your incline. You just hold it up, push the button, it'll tell you how steep your shot is. We've also got an ACI indicator. Those are fairly common. You mount them on the side of your scope or on your scope base. Those indicate the angle that your gun is pointing to target. What I'm going to talk about today is a really simple technique that we call fisting your incline. And it's something that you can use in the field without any special equipment, or let's say your equipment fails. It's pretty simple. What we're going to do is take our fist, hold it vertically. We're going to extend our arm. Now, the amount of subtension, or the amount that your fist covers, is approximately 10 degrees when you extend your arm. So we're going to hold your fist out horizontal. Essentially, your index finger is pointing at 0 or horizontal. You rotate your fist once, that's 10 degrees to the top of your fist now. Now we're at 20, now we're at 30, now we're at 40 degrees. This is a fairly accurate way to measure your incline. I'm out here practicing today, and I have a bunch of rocks down here. We like to shoot at rocks. They're nice targets. You don't have to pack them down the hill. I'm going to test my measurement technique on a couple of these targets and see how accurate it is. Then I'm going to back it up with this rangefinder and measure exactly what that distance or that angle is. There's horizontal. I've got 10 degrees right there. Now the rock that I've got picked out is about half a fist. So that would be 10 plus 5, so I'm measuring 15 degrees. Okay, using the G7 rangefinder, I have 13.5 degrees. Now the difference between using my fist and the rangefinder is only 1.5 degrees. That's a small enough error that it will not affect my compensation for that shot. This is a simple technique that you can use. Just take a little time to practice it. It'll help you out one of these days in the field when you find that incline shot you have to compensate for. I'm Aaron Davidson, and that is how to fish your incline.
Nightforce Optics builds the G7 rifle scope. This rifle scope is comprised of hundreds of parts that must be machined and fitted perfectly for the scope to pass rigorous testing and quality control specifications. A rifle scope is only as good as its glass, and each lens is hand-fitted and optically aligned or indexed to ensure best optical performance. Lenses are cemented or bonded to the lens cells, and the lens cells are machined to precisely fit the scope tube. These steps are critical to building a scope that maintains first shot accuracy even after experiencing impacts. Each rifle scope must pass a minimum resolution test on precise equipment using an Air Force resolution chart. In addition to traditional axial impacts, the G7 scope undergoes side impacts to simulate real-world conditions and is then tested for zero movement tolerance on precise measurement equipment. When it is all assembled, the G7 scope must pass the tracking and adjustment specification test. As adjustments are made, the movement of the scope is verified to ensure the reticle tracks the click adjustments exactly without hesitation or delay. For a precision shooter using an elevation turret for compensation, perfect tracking is paramount to first shot hits.
One of the most important things in long-range shooting is that your calculated corrections match what's actually happening in the field. Now previously, we calculated a drop chart, and I took it to the range and I shot some data at our range. But I found that at 800 yards, I needed 15 minutes of angle of correction instead of the calculated 14.7 minutes. Now that's a small difference, but it's important when we're shooting long range that we're precise as we can be. Now we're going to show you how to use a tool here called trajectory validation, and that will allow me to calculate the actual input parameters. Now my bullet was the Berger 168 VLD at 617. Muzzle velocity on the chronograph was 30.25. Sight height, zero range is all correct. I zeroed right on at 200 yards. Now the altitude at our range is 43.75. The temperature was just a little bit warmer than that. It was 35 degrees. Now in our downrange drop data, we're going to put our actual field shooting results. And this is what makes our calculation precisely match what's going on in the field. And our far range was 800 yards. Now our drop adjustment was in minutes of angle, and it was 15 minutes of angle exactly to get there. Now if we were 2 inches high or low, we could use this zero adjust to do that. And all the information that helps you set up these parameters is in the help files. So you can go there to learn about these. Now we can change the velocity or the ballistic coefficient. Berger's BCs are right on, so I'm going to use the true velocity. And it's going to calculate that our velocity was slightly different, 29.91 instead of 30.25. Now I'm going to add that value to the program. Once I've got those inputs back in the program, I can easily calculate another drop chart and verify that this matches what's actually going on in the field. At 800 yards, I have 15 minutes of angle. That's perfect. I'm going to print this, and this is the data that I'm going to use at the range. It's really important that you do this extra step of ballistic profiling to make sure that the calculated values match what's actually happening in the field. If you do that, it's going to make you a better long-range shooter. I'm Mike Davidson, and that is Ballistic Profiling, and now you can do it yourself.
Terminal ballistics is the study of a bullet's flight and behavior after impact. The two main factors that affect terminal performance are impact velocity and a bullet's construction or type. When a bullet expands, it creates a permanent wound cavity of crushed and destroyed tissue. Three typical bullet types are compared at 2,500 feet per second impact velocities. The VLD bullet type offers better penetration than a typical expanding bullet and bigger wound cavities than the controlled expansion bullets. When you select a VLD bullet, you can expect excellent terminal ballistics performance.
Hey, we've got another sheep hunter with us, Al. Really great guy, good hunter, and we just figured we better draw straws this morning to see who gets to shoot first. I drew the short straw, so I guess Al gets to shoot first, and we're gonna try to get him a big ram, and it's gonna be a lot of fun.
One of my young hunting partners suggested that time's sort of running out to ever get a Dall Sheep, and I'd probably never get a draw. And why don't I look into the maybe trying to go on a guided hunt? And I had never been guided before, and I thought, oh, I probably wouldn't do it. And then I was at a sheep dinner, and a hunt came up at an auction, and I was able to bid on it and win it. And that's how I came here to Gaina to go sheep hunting.
One little hidden pocket up here from the bottom that we just couldn't see. We figured we better walk up here and check it out. Been two rams hanging out in here, two big ones. Just haven't been able to spot them today. We thought we'd come up here and just make sure they weren't in this pocket. Little caribou over here. Something was hiding out in here. Couldn't quite get a range on that little ram, so I was just going to use my rangefinder and the scope, but he's even a little too far away for that, so I only go to 8, so that's no man's land right there. It's a good thing he was just a little one. We didn't have to worry about it too much.
It was getting late in the afternoon, so we rolled upriver there a little ways for about an hour. Checked out these rams, still too far, so we just called it a night, went back to camp.
Well, we're 3 in a tent tonight. I think I'm gonna sacrifice myself and take the middle, and maybe I'll trade somebody else the next time. It's about 7. We woke up pretty excited this morning. The sun was looking like it was gonna pop out. There wasn't any clouds, the smoke's gone, so we're gonna hit up this main draw and see if we can't get on those sheep we saw the other night.
Three rams turned into 6. They're right in the back of the draw up in a high pass. 2 look like shooters, maybe 3. We're moving in for a closer gander.
That looks kind of steep, huh?
Yeah.
We're walking that way to go climb up to those other rams we spotted. They just spotted some sheep in this side draw right behind us. It's right over the top of that rocks right there in the shade on the backside of the hill there. One of them good rams we've seen is there. The two up here are no good. The one at the back is no good, but I think there's probably another one in there. So we're gonna just climb up there as if there's a shooter in there and see. And if it doesn't pan out, we'll just side hill across to the other one. The sun does shine once in a while. We had about a 2-mile hike left, straight up and straight down. We just spotted some rams up in this bowl here. We're gonna sneak up there and see if there's a good one or not.
We made it past some sheep. I think we didn't get caught. We'll go up over this log and look for him. We're missing one sheep we believe is a shooter. And he's gonna be in there.
Need that good rangefinder. They're all the way on the other side of this bowl. Hopefully we can get a range on them. We'll see. We got those two smaller rams just about to go over that saddle up there. And Jeremy snuck up the hill, see if he could get a number on that bigger one that was with this bunch 2 nights ago. Those buggers up there are probably 1,200-1,300 yards away. We can't really tell because we just don't have the rangefinder that can go that far. But 2 smaller rams, so it doesn't really matter if they're that far or not. But hopefully the big one don't follow them up there. We'll be out of luck without that rangefinder.
Yeah, we found one. I got her. He's 600 yards straight down. We're gonna put Al with our rifle and we're gonna do some blazing.
When he said that, I knew that that's it. We're gonna shoot this sheep. So there's no more fooling around. And we couldn't get any closer. And most of my shooting had been at 400 yards, sometimes 5 in practice. And this shot was over 600. And I wasn't really confident with my rifle, and Mike's rifle was available, and he offered to let me use it. It was a long way and this very steep angle, and it wasn't the easiest shot I've ever tried.
Looks like 680, Al.
Okay, dollar in there, right?
We're looking about 10%. We need to subtract about 10%, so let's just go about 610. That gives us about... Yep, I think that'll work. He's the one on the left.
Okay, I got it.
When you're ready, just give it a nice squeeze. Okay. Nice and easy.
All right.
You did it. Yeah, you got it.
I thought I hit it.
Yeah, you got it. You got him right through the shoulder. You did it.
550.
There he goes. There he goes. Yep, he just tipped over.
Woo! He's down.
What about that other one?
He's down.
No good. The other one's no good.
Put that sucker on safety.
One down, one to go. Great shot.
My God.
Got a rush.
Without that rifle, I would have never got that sheep. There's no doubt in my mind that was the difference. Absolutely. One big sheep. So whoa, walking up on that sheep was, it's a dream of a lifetime. It certainly was. It's a really pretty sheep. Well, I have no more. I'm just totally overjoyed. That's all I can say. Excited. It's been a lot of effort, and it's probably my one and only time to ever get a chance at that, and I was pretty grateful to get it.
Well, it is 9:30 at night.
Spending the night on the mountain.
They say we're spending the night here. I've been looking for a soft spot for the last 10-15 minutes. I haven't found one yet. What's that?
You're not eyeballed mine.
Yeah, I'm looking now. Hey.
I call middle, that's what I say.
Yeah. We could have worked all night trying to put something together, and it would have still been miserable. It was cold when we woke up. The wind started blowing again. Out of all the hunting and camping out and backpacking I've ever done, that's got to be the most miserable night I've ever slept in the mountains.